John was 68. He had never spent a night in the hospital. Every morning he woke up at 6 a.m., brewed his own coffee, read the paper, and watched the birds from his porch. But one morning, his hand trembled slightly as he reached for his glass of water. Later that day, he dropped his keys. Twice. He thought, maybe it's just age. 3 days later, John suffered a minor stroke in his bathroom. No chest pain, no slurred speech, no dramatic collapse. Just a few tiny signs, ignored, and life changed forever. Did you know that every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. has a stroke? For people over 60, heart attacks and strokes don't always come with a bang. They arrive quietly, masked as minor stroke symptoms, vague fatigue, or clumsy hands, often dismissed as normal aging. But these can be 7 symptoms of a heart attack 1 month before, or even symptoms of a silent heart attack. In this video, you'll learn how to recognize what are the symptoms of heart attacks and how to catch the symptoms of stroke or heart attack before they strike. We'll uncover the 5 most dangerous morning habits that silently increase your risk and the small changes that could save your life. If you or someone you love is over 60, this video could be the most important thing you watch today, because survival doesn't begin in the hospital. It begins with a warm glass of water, a single step, and the courage to listen to what your body's been trying to tell you all along.
When you first wake up, your body is in a delicate, almost vulnerable state. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you're mildly dehydrated, your blood has thickened, and your cortisol, the stress hormone, surges sharply. According to the American Heart Association, blood pressure tends to peak between 6 a.m. and noon, making this one of the most dangerous windows for cardiovascular events. This combination, thicker blood, constricted vessels, and surging pressure, creates what doctors call the morning storm. It's why high blood pressure stroke is most likely to happen in the early hours, often without any warning. Harvard Health reports that strokes are 80% preventable with better awareness and small daily changes. But first, we have to understand the when, not just the why. For older adults, this morning window carries even more weight. Blood vessels become less elastic with age, and the body takes longer to stabilize after lying down. That's why sudden movements, mental stress, or skipping hydration upon waking can trigger what you may later recognize as warning signs of stroke or signs of a mini-stroke in a woman. And let's not forget the heart. This same storm can lead to silent heart attacks, especially in people with undiagnosed hypertension or diabetes. The Lancet Neurology notes that stroke risk increases 3-fold in the first hour after waking in vulnerable populations. So before you rush into your day, pause. Your morning isn't just a routine, it's a crossroads. What you do or don't do right after waking can mean the difference between a healthy day and one that changes everything. And that brings us to the 5 small everyday habits that may be quietly increasing your risk. Let's look at them one by one. Most of us begin the day on autopilot, waking up, reaching for coffee, checking the phone, and moving through a routine we've trusted for years. But what if those very habits, seemingly harmless and familiar, are quietly placing your heart and brain at risk, especially after the age of 60? The early morning hours are a biologically vulnerable time when your body transitions from rest to activity, and what you do or don't do during those first 30 minutes can dramatically shift your risk for stroke or heart attack. The first and most overlooked habit is skipping water. After a full night of sleep, your body wakes up dehydrated, your blood thicker, your heart working harder to push that sluggish circulation through narrowed vessels. A study published in the European Journal of Neurology found that nearly half of all first-time ischemic strokes were associated with low hydration upon waking. That statistic alone should prompt a pause. Before the coffee, before the news, your heart needs water. A single glass of room-temperature water can thin the blood, wake the brain, and soften the morning surge in blood pressure that so often leads to cardiovascular events. Another subtle but harmful habit is sitting still for too long after waking. Many older adults stay in bed or sit motionless for 20 to 30 minutes, often scrolling or simply waiting for energy to rise. But when the body remains inactive after lying down all night, blood tends to pool in the legs, and the return flow to the heart and brain is delayed. This stagnation can cause dizziness, slow thinking, and in more serious cases, trigger signs of stroke such as facial asymmetry or weakness. Gentle motion, ankle rolls, shoulder shrugs, a few deep breaths can prime the vascular system, improve oxygen delivery, and help prevent a dangerous drop in cerebral blood flow. Then comes the common but risky habit of skipping breakfast, especially when taking medication for blood pressure or diabetes. Eating nothing in the morning while absorbing powerful medications can lead to hypoglycemia, loss of coordination, confusion, or even fainting. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, adults over 60 who skip meals are significantly more likely to experience heart-related complications. A modest breakfast with protein, such as a boiled egg, yogurt, or a few nuts, helps stabilize blood sugar and creates a safer metabolic environment for morning medications to work effectively. Many people, without realizing it, then add fuel to the fire by drinking coffee first thing. Caffeine on an empty stomach, combined with dehydration and rise in cortisol, overstimulates the nervous system. The Journal of the American College of Cardiology has reported that caffeine can cause vasoconstriction in older adults, increasing the likelihood of arrhythmias and chest discomfort. These aren't just caffeine jitters, they can be early signs of a heart event. Finally, the habit of diving into digital stimulation, emails, headlines, notifications, can activate a stress response before the day even begins. The National Institute on Aging has shown that psychological stress, especially early in the day, raises inflammatory markers and blood pressure in older adults. This chronic activation places a heavy burden on both the heart and the brain. Instead of jumping into chaos, try starting your day with stillness, music, prayer, or quiet reflection. The truth is, the first hour after you wake up may be the most powerful hour of your entire day. And now that you know how some habits quietly harm, it's time to learn what small, healing choices you can make instead. We've talked about morning habits and how small daily choices can quietly affect your risk of stroke or heart attack. But here's something just as crucial. Your symptoms may not look like someone else's, especially when it comes to gender. And that's where many people, particularly women, face the greatest danger. They don't recognize what their body is trying to say until it's too late. While men often experience the classic signs, chest pain, tightness, pain radiating down the left arm, heart attack symptoms in women are frequently far more subtle. According to the American Heart Association, women are more likely to report fatigue, shortness of breath, indigestion, nausea, or anxiety in the days or even weeks before a cardiac event. Some feel like they have the flu or blame their symptoms on stress or aging. These are not harmless discomforts. They can be symptoms of heart attack for women. What makes this more concerning is that women tend to seek medical help later than men. A study published in Circulation revealed that women wait an average of 37 minutes longer than men before calling emergency services during a heart attack, and as a result, their outcomes are often worse. The same goes for female stroke symptoms. Instead of sudden weakness or speech trouble, many women experience confusion, general fatigue, or even hiccups paired with chest discomfort. These signs are easy to overlook, yet they may be the body's final call for help. That's why understanding the signs of heart attack or stroke through the lens of gender is not just important, it's life-saving. Your body doesn't care about textbook definitions. It speaks in your own language. The key is learning how to listen, especially when the message is quiet. Because the sooner you recognize what's happening, the sooner you can act and protect the life you've worked so hard to build.
If symptoms of a heart attack or stroke were always dramatic, sharp chest pain, slurred speech, or collapse, it would be easier to recognize the danger. But in reality, many of the earliest signs are quiet, ordinary, and easy to miss. And that's exactly what makes them so dangerous. The body doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. Learning to hear those whispers, especially after the age of 60, is not just awareness, it's prevention.
Let's look at 7 subtle signals that may show up days or even weeks before a major event. These are the kinds of symptoms that many seniors brush off as clumsiness or simple forgetfulness, yet research shows they often fall under the category of 7 symptoms of heart attack 1 month before or mild stroke warnings. The first is sudden clumsiness, reaching for your toothbrush and missing, dropping a glass you've held for years with ease. This loss of coordination may signal interrupted blood flow to the brain. The second is forgetting simple words or names. According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, sudden confusion or trouble speaking is one of the most common early signs of a minor stroke. A third sign is a foggy, detached feeling, like being present but not fully clear. The fourth is dropping everyday objects. It may seem like butterfingers, but if your grip changes or weakens without explanation, it's worth paying attention. Fifth, losing balance briefly, such as needing to steady yourself after standing up or veering to one side while walking. This could indicate changes in the cerebellum, the brain's balance center. The sixth sign is brief, sudden blurriness in one or both eyes, often mistaken for fatigue or dry eyes. According to the American Stroke Association, transient vision loss is a red flag for a transient ischemic attack, a warning stroke that often precedes a full event. And finally, a skipped heartbeat. Not the kind caused by excitement or caffeine, but a sudden, unexplained flutter that feels off. The CDC reports that atrial fibrillation, which can present with such sensations, increases stroke risk by 5 times in older adults. These are the small signs we often dismiss, but the body doesn't waste energy sending signals without reason. When your system is off balance, it tries to tell you. The key is not to panic, but to listen and respond with curiosity and care. Because when you understand the symptoms of heart attack and stroke, not just in theory, but in your own experience, you give yourself time. And in matters of the heart and brain, time is life.
Once you understand how quietly the body warns us, the next step is knowing how to support it, starting with breakfast. For seniors, this meal isn't just fuel. It's a chance to protect the heart and brain by improving circulation and reducing inflammation. Oats are a powerful choice. Rich in beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber, they help lower LDL cholesterol. The National Lipid Association notes that just 1 cup of cooked oats a day can reduce cholesterol by up to 10%, making it a valuable part of any diet for congestive heart failure. Adding ground flax seeds or walnuts enhances this benefit. Both are high in alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that regular ALA intake can lower cardiovascular mortality by 10 to 15%. These simple additions are core elements of the best diet for heart disease. For savory eaters, a soft-boiled egg paired with steamed greens like spinach or chard provides essential protein and minerals such as magnesium and potassium, which help regulate blood pressure. Replace the morning coffee rush with a warm herbal tea, hibiscus or chamomile, to gently support vascular health. These meals form the foundation of heart-protective, anti-inflammatory diets for heart health. Beyond food, strategic supplementation becomes vital with age. Magnesium supports relaxed blood vessels and has been associated with a 22% lower risk of stroke, hypertension, 2017. Vitamin D3 reduces arterial stiffness, and omega-3s, EPA, DHA, lower triglycerides and reduce the risk of cardiac death by 20%, circulation. CoQ10, essential for energy and heart cells, declines with age, but can be restored through supplements, improving function and reducing fatigue. These are not trends. They are backed by science, trusted by clinicians. Your heart doesn't just need care when it's hurting. It needs support every single day. With smart food choices and essential nutrients, you create an internal environment where healing and longevity are not only possible, but sustainable. If you're living in your 60s or beyond, you don't need to move faster. You just need to pause long enough to truly listen. Your body is not betraying you. It's speaking to you. Every flutter of the heart, every offbeat moment of balance or focus is a message. And when you respond with care, you begin to rewrite your future, not in fear, but in strength. Healing doesn't begin in a hospital. It begins in the first moments of your day. With a glass of water, a stretch of your shoulders, a breath that reaches your lungs and clears your mind. With a morning that is intentional rather than rushed. These are not minor gestures, they are how we return to ourselves. Because choosing to protect your heart isn't about resisting age, it's about honoring it. And the way you greet your morning becomes the way you greet your life. Recovery is not a stroke of luck. It's the result of 100 small choices, and every morning gives you a new chance to choose. Finally, please remember that the information in this video is for educational and inspirational purposes. To get medical advice that is best suited for your individual health condition, especially if you have underlying medical issues or are taking medication, please always consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional.